can't buy. It resides between my eyes. Walked through the fire, came out better on the other side. See, life's like a beach if you find the sand. And right now, I feel like 100 grand.
You are listening to Inspired Insider with your host, Dr. Jeremy Wise.
Dr. Jeremy Weiss here, founder of InspiredInsider.com, where I talk with inspirational entrepreneurs and leaders. Today is no different. I have Aytekin Tank of Jotform. Every time I talk to someone about Jotform, everyone's heard of it, Aytekin. So at least in certain circles, you're a household name. Before I formally introduce you, I always like to point out other episodes of the podcast people should check out. Since this is part of the Top SaaS series, I had one of the co-founders of Zapier, Wade Foster. I know you know Wade, and you guys have some good content out there. There's a panel of you guys talking, which is a good episode. And they've grown. He talks about growing to millions of users, which is pretty amazing. Pipedrive, one of the co-founders of Pipedrive on. When I talked to him, they were around 10,000 customers. Now I think they're over 100,000. customers, and talked about growing as well. That was kind of a crazy journey. He talked about moving from Estonia, getting married, and also having discovering a brain tumor all within the same year, which was kind of crazy journey. The founder of Aweber was also a really interesting one. That and many more on InspiredInsider.com. And this episode is brought to you by Rise25. At Rise25, we help businesses give to and connect to their dream relationships, partnerships. How do we do that? We do that by helping you run your podcast. We're an easy button for a company to launch and run a podcast. We do the strategy, the accountability, and also the full execution. So I think we call ourselves kind of the magic elves that run in the background to make it look easy for the host and the company so they can create amazing relationships, create amazing content, and most importantly, run their business. For me, the number one thing in my life is relationships. I'm always looking at ways to give to my best relationships, and I found no better way over the past decade to profile the people and companies I most admire and share with the world what they're working on. So if you thought about podcasting, you should. Jotform actually has a podcast. If you have questions, go to rise25.com or email us at support@rise25.com. I am excited to introduce Aytekin Tank. He's the founder of Jotform. Jotform, which is surprisingly, Aytekin, a bootstrapped global SaaS company that provides powerful online forms to 25 plus million users. He's also the best-selling author of Automate Your Busywork, Do Less, Achieve More, and Save Your Brain for the Big Stuff. Aytekin, thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Jeremy, for having me on the show. And and the SaaS companies you mentioned, we actually have integration with all of them. So they are actually very famous companies. So I'm definitely going to check out those episodes.
Yeah. Talk about the important, and we'll get into Jotform. And by the way, there's a video version, so I am going to share my screen here. But talk about the importance of integrations and partnerships. And I'm going to pull up, we're at Jotform right here. And, if you don't know what it is, it helps you create powerful forms. Actually, my wife uses it in her business, her psychology business, Coping Partners. One of the big attractions is there's HIPAA compliance to the forms. But talk about partnerships for a second and integrations.
Yeah, so our business is about forms, and basically it's a SaaS service product where you go and use one of the you could use one of the templates, or you could just create a form from scratch. And whenever you need to do something, like when you need to get people to sign up for something, register for something, like when you need to survey them, or get them to apply for something, like when you need to collect leads and all kinds of stuff, that you can just go ahead and create it yourself. And it's a very easy to use. And I actually created Jotform 18 years ago. It's been a while, and we have always had this idea that it should be so easy to use that anybody could use it. And that's why over the years, we kept improving it and making it easier to use. And so the idea is that it's a no-code product. So even if you don't know how to code, how to program, you can actually go Jotform and create a form, right? And in many instances, just creating a form is not enough. Like you actually need that data that you receive from your customers, clients on other platforms. So we actually have integration with hundreds of other products, and so that you can actually pass that data to others. But we also have our own products so that you can actually use it internally. Like we have products, like we have this document generation product where you can actually create PDF files from your form data if you need to like more durable, shareable version. We have a product called Jotform Sign where you can actually do e-signatures with people, for example, just reuse the data so they invite them to sign a document. We have like workflow approval features. You can actually, if you have multiple forms, you can actually turn them into apps using Jotform apps so that, you can create a mobile app where people can actually access the forms easily. Like if you have like a community, if you have like clients that needs to access to your forms, that's an easy place for them to find these forms as opposed to like just trying to find them in emails and everywhere else. Definitely it's the integrations are really important. Being able to send the data to other platforms, and in some cases, like receive data from other platforms so that you can pre-populate your forms. It's an important thing, and a lot of Jotform users use that so that they can actually use it together with other products. And the reason, even if they use another product like a CRM or something else, the reason they use Jotform and then pass the data to the other products is because Jotform is actually like a really good forms product. It has like so many features, so many advanced features, like kind of like conditional logic. You can make your forms much more smart and efficient and easy to use. And because of that, many people will, some of these products actually have forms. Like, you were just showing like MailChimp, right? You can actually, with MailChimp, you can actually create a form as well, but it's not as like flexible as Jotform. So you could just create a form with Jotform and then pass that information to MailChimp or like Google Drive, Google Sheets, wherever you use. Like you can actually pass the data to as many places as you want and be able to kind of automate your work, be able to like automate your workflow so that you can actually accomplish more by just like streamlining your workflows.
Yeah, you could see here when we're looking at the integrations page, and obviously there's a lot of CRMs here so that people can get the data into MailChimp. And we talked about Pipedrive earlier. Pipedrive is on here, Salesforce is on here, Keep is on here, and a bunch of others. Is this a hard decision from a company standpoint to create these integrations? Because it is development time and it is time for the company. How do you decide, yeah, we're going to build and work out an integration for this particular software?
When I started Jotform, I thought that I was in the forms business. So we created all kinds of form features. But as the time went along, and when I started actually helping our customers, our users, I discovered that our business is actually automation. It's actually helping people streamline their work, helping people accomplish more, be much more productive, save time, save energy, so that the automation can help them get stuff done, and so that they can focus on more important things. And in addition to the forms, we started kind of focusing on the next step. Like when we actually kind of interview our users, when we actually talk to our users on support or just doing like interviews, we discovered that they're actually like, there is actually a journey, and the journey starts with a form, but there's just like so many steps in it, and they're accomplishing many things. And if we can actually help them accomplish not just the first step, but also the next steps in this journey, it's actually we are helping them accomplish more. making things much more easier, streamlined, prevent mistakes, doing things manually. So we started like kind of implementing all these features and products and adding different sub products to our product, so that they can actually do those things. Like, some of the things we did was like the document generation, like you can generate PDFs. Jotform apps is like this no-code product where you can actually add, your forms, create a mobile app. Jotform Sign is like the e-signature product, and so integrations are the same way. When people actually need to complete their task on some other platform, we make it very easy for them to pass the data. And we are also integrating with these integration platforms like Zapier and Make, but we also like try to build our own native integrations, because this gives us more opportunities to like make things easier for our users, because we are able to like add more features to it, like more options to it, as opposed to just using these integration platforms. But they're great. Like I love Zapier, and it's a great way for people to like connect all these different sales products together to accomplish things.
I'm thinking, how do you decide on what free feature requests to execute on? Because at this point, I mean, you have millions of users, probably people like, I wish it would do this, I wish it would do that. You'd go crazy, trying to follow everyone's. But over time, obviously, you've built a lot of features out. What's the decision-making process look like on, yes, we're going to move forward with this, feature request? I don't know if there's an example you have from like early on where you actually, got a request and maybe decided to do it or not do it. What's the decision-making look like?
When I released Jotform, I don't think we had the email, and that like it was very quickly people wanted to like receive their submissions by email, and then it turned out that Jotform, like most people actually use Jotform with email. Their user interface is email. Like they just go to Jotform, create a form, and then they receive their data by email, and they don't ever come back to jotform.com to actually use all the tools and data tools or anything. Just email is good enough for them. They want to just instantly receive the data by email.
They log in, they create the form, someone fills it out, and they get an actual email with the form. They literally never have to log in a Jotform ever again, but they're still using it.
Definitely. Yeah. I think when we receive feature requests, I think it's very important for us to always have these feedback buttons. And we also use our own product to create feedback. In Jotform, you can, if you have a website, you can create a feedback button and you can put it on your website. But we also use our own product here as well. And just whenever we add a new feature, we will just put this feedback button, and then we will just receive a lot of feedbacks about that feature product. And then we will improve it with this feedback. And also, we provide free support to everyone. Like usually, support is not available in many products to free users. But in our case, even if you are a free user, and most of our users are actually free users, you get support, and we have an average 1 hour turnaround time on our support. Even if you are free, you get that. And when people actually use the product, and when they have like support questions, when they see that we have this we help people with their problems, they will also use the same place to like send lots of feature requests. And then what happens is that our product managers will just add them up and just see okay, this is the top requested feature. But this gives us like this minor improvement opportunities, right? To find those like big improvement opportunities in your product, I think what you need to do is you need to kind of talk to people. And what we do is like we have this user research team, and what they do is like they talk to our customer a whole day, like just constantly talking to our users. And what we do here is like we'll just especially like if you want to get feedback about a specific product, we will just find people who are already using those products, and then we just send them an email saying, we want to take like 45 minutes of your time, and for as an appreciation, we are going to also send you this Amazon gift card. And can we schedule a meeting? And just the conversion rate is so high in that email that just like I think it's like 40% or something like that, very high. I mean, we are targeting people who are really using it, and so people don't even
Like
want to give.
super users.
People actually are really happy to be able to kind of tell us like what they need. So they're not even doing it for the gift card, but it's also a nice addition. And from those interviews, they don't just watch those interviews. They also kind of present it to us. And from in those interviews, we don't just ask them like how they use Jotform, but what else they do. Like, how, like there's this big system, they actually have this big workflow, and Jotform is just one step in this journey. And what else they do? Like how else we can help them? And usually the big ideas, the big opportunities come out because we look at those, we ask those questions about what else you do, like what else, what do you do after this? Like, what do you do after you get the data from Jotform? And those answers help us come up with new products and opportunities.
I love that. No, thanks for sharing that. I could totally see that, because you look at everything they're doing and how do you help them even more? Because who knows, maybe early on they were using one of the forms and they had to like convert it to PDF to get it signed. And now, oh, we could just do an e-signature and write in Jotform and help with that step and eliminate steps for people, because that's what you're about. You mentioned, and I know about, you provide support even for free users, and actually fast support for free users. And I know it was very important for you to have a free version. So I want to know why, and also how you came up with the pricing. But why was it important for you to have a free version? And right now we're looking at jotform.com pricing. You can see there's the free, bronze, silver right now. This may change depending they raise their prices when you look at this later on, but this is what it looks like now. Talk about why free.
Both free and providing support to free users is just something that I have been doing from day one. And I never, many of our competitors actually had a free plan, and then at some point, like when they wanted to optimize sales or something, they just either hidden the free version, or they just like turned it into like free trial, just got rid of it. And but we never did it, because free is a great way to kind of meet people, get their trust, get them to try the product, see how good it is, and experience how good it is. And then once they actually see it, meet with us, and it's once their actual usage increases, they upgrade to the paid plan. So it's actually a good way for people to meet with people, and it's a great marketing strategy, because
I could see here that Jotform branding,
yeah.
The free version, Jotform branding.
Definitely, it's
right.
also brings like virality. Like just kind of forms products are kind of has a virality, because every time you use the form, every time you send a form to someone else, they actually see the URL, they see the form, and then the free version actually has like powered by Jotform logo on it, on the forms. So this actually increases our branding, and many people see it and come to Jotform. And it's also like kind of, if you think about it, you're considering like there are many products, you're considering which one to use. Like at this stage, like you are going to try out something that's already free, right? If something is paid, it's just much harder to try out. So when I started Jotform in 2006, the first year I actually didn't expect to earn money, and I just wanted to kind of get feedback from users. And what I did was I made it completely free. And what I was very upfront about it. I said, hey, it's completely free, and in a year we are going to actually become a freemium product. We are going to have paid plans, but at this point, it's completely free. And this actually allowed me to like get so many users. And a year later, when I actually released like the premium version, I already had like 15,000 free users. And right away, like as soon as I released like the premium version, I got like 500 people to upgrade to the premium version. And that was a great start for me. And so this is about the free version, and the free support for even for the free users was also kind of similar in the beginning. When I was just starting out, I wanted to get feedback. So what I did was I actually had this kind of like the PHP BB kind of forum softwares on my website. So and I had this forum, and people would come there, and then they would ask their question, and I would answer them. And other people would see that, like as soon as someone asks a question, I would provide an answer to them like ASAP, like right away. And then someone is like saying, "Hey, there is a bug here, and can you look at it?" And then my reply is like, an hour later, it's fixed. Look at it now, it's fixed. And that kind of response actually kind of built trust with people, and the other people were also seeing that like there's a real involvement in this product. And I was writing a blog as well, and I was like constantly answering forum questions. And I loved listening to customers that way. And I believe like at least the first 4 or 5 years, I was the only support person. Like I was just doing support. At some point, support was just taking so much of my time that I just, hired like 5 remote, contractors on Odesk, and then just stopped doing support. But I was learning, like similar to those interviews, doing support. I was able to get like so much feedback from users. And when I was doing support, I wouldn't just say, okay, hey, there's a bug here, okay, yeah, we are going to work on this bug. But I would also say like, how do you like about this feature? I would even like constantly write emails to people like, hey, I saw that you tried our product, but you didn't use it. Like, and was there a reason? Like, was there something broken? Like, I was just sent these like one-line sentences. Like, it had like so big like conversion rates. Like those emails. Like, half of the people would reply to them because it was very authentic. And at some point, like I would have to stop. Like whatever I did, like I had to stop them because like I was getting like so many responses, and I didn't have time to respond to all of them. And just but I was learning so much from people. So both having the free version and providing free support allow me to build a good product, be able to like just talk to the people and be able to develop my product. And that's why I continue to keep it, and we still keep them today, and we still get lots of feedback from the free support, and we get lots of marketing and users from the free version.
I think it's no easy feat to get 15,000 users, even if they're free. How did you get 15,000 users in a short period of time early on?
Yeah, when I was releasing Jotform, my strategy was like to use the technology angle. So if I was launching a product today, I would definitely be talking about AI. Like I would launch an AI product and I would talk about AI, and because everybody wants to talk about AI and want to read about AI. At that time, this is 2006. Just like Gmail came out in 2004, I believe. So like this and during this, like at this time, like software was something like you actually installed on your computer. It wasn't something like you used on your browser. And so Salesforce was one of the early examples, but the SaaS word wasn't even invented back then. So this was the early days of SaaS, and like just having a product. And the Jotform form builder, I didn't put like a sign up page. I didn't even put like a homepage, a landing page. I just put the form builder right on the homepage. And you could just go there and create a form by drag and dropping things. And so it was kind of like an early example of what can be accomplished on the browser. today it's just very common to see things like that. But back then it was like a very interesting. So I used that angle. I just started emailing like the tech news sites and everyone else about like, how this product is an early example of this technology, what can be done on the browser, one-page apps, and what kind of things can be done with drag and drop. And this actually worked. And all these tech news sites, they wanted to kind of mention these examples. That was a good way to do PR, even though I didn't know anything about PR, but I was actually doing good PR. And I also I was part of this community called Business of Software, which is like a forum for kind of software developers. And it was actually Joel Spolsky had a blog, maybe you know it, and this was part of that blog. And I also wrote there, and because I was authentic and I was sharing my experience building and releasing a product, it actually received a lot of kind of views from there and got traction from there as well, because lots of people who were posting there were also kind of software founders. They had websites where they could use forms. So I also got some early users from there. But it was, at that time, like there was no social media, so it was blogs were important back then. Like just I had a blog as well, like like you would actually mention other bloggers, like because there was no social media, like you would mention other bloggers and then they would mention you. And there was this different kind of like linking to other bloggers was kind of way to get attention, and they would link back to you. But there are equivalents of those things today. Like the forums are now like Reddit maybe, and blogs are kind of similar to social media posts. And the technology angle is the AI, is all the hype today. Yeah.
So you started Jotforms, and then Google Forms comes on the scene.
Mm-hmm.
So talk about in your mind what's going on for you. What point are you in the journey, and what are you thinking now? Like Google's entered my arena here.
Yeah. So yeah, I was very the company actually was growing very slowly. Like the first year, I hired my first employee, and I started an office. And the second year, I hired second employee. Like the first 5 years, like I was just hiring one employee every year. So it was around like 2010, Google Forms came out. But right at this time, I actually had a problem. I was actually buried under Busywork. Like I was doing everything. So I was like doing all the support. I was doing, I was spending hours every day on my inbox, like processing my inbox, email inbox. And I was doing, everything, including like accounting, legal, HR, and like ordering supplies for the office. So I was doing everything, and I actually didn't have time to work on what really matters, which is like really advancing my product, because it's still a small product. We are still a small company. And right at this moment, something else happened. Google came out with a competing product. So so I had to kind of make a change. Like I had to find a way to like stop being buried under this busy work and start kind of like just focusing on improving my product, focusing on growing my product and improving my product more, like just spend my time on important things. And so I had to make a decision there. And my decision was that, okay, I'm gonna automate or delegate everything, and so that I can actually spend my time on important things. So as I mentioned, like just I went to Odesk, which is now Upwork, and I hired like this 5 remote employees, contractors, to do support. So I was spending from morning to night doing support. Now I actually handed off to someone else there. I was kind of sad because I enjoyed providing support, because I was learning from customers. but I knew that I had to make that change. So that was the big delegation I did. And I was spending so much time in my emails because I didn't like really have a good way to automate my emails, like the way I process, like my emails weren't prioritized. So what I did that was like I built this system so that I can actually I spend less time on my emails so that I can see the top highest priority emails first. And then that way I don't have to spend hours and hours in email, just take care of the important stuff. And the way we did developed our product, like I tried to automate everything as much as possible using like principles of continuous integration and deployment. So I use all these automation techniques so that I can actually automate my business, so that I can actually spend my time really focusing on how to improve my product and how to grow my company, my business. And that worked actually. That actually resulted in much bigger, improvement and in our growth and signups and in our, product improved. And I think that's the reason behind our success, so that I was able to spend more time with what really matters. And these automation like principles that I learned, I did not just use it by myself, but I also teach them. I taught them to our employees, but I also started applying them to my product, like to Jotform. Right, as I mentioned, like we started like kind of figuring out what people were actually spending their time on, how we can automate them, and learning all these like automation principles and applying them to these principles to my product, to my company, to my own work, that resulted in this book. I released this book last year, the Automate Your Busywork, and
there's a lot of these
what I learned about
principles
automation
in here.
the
I
book.
mean, I've listened to 90% of it at this point. And you share a lot of the principles in here, even from like you get into the weeds a little bit, which is good. On okay, I created this folder and this label in Gmail so that it would route here, and so that you can basically just look at the priority ones in your inbox. And I just like how you think about it, because you kind of like 80/20. Okay, what's the top 20% that I should automate or delegate or eliminate? Because you did delegate some stuff, and then you went and looked at automating some stuff, and I'm sure you eliminated some stuff. But this book is a good example of, you were able to grow because you were able to improve the product and then focus on, growing the company essentially.
Exactly. Yeah, it's about like kind of doing like an time audit. Basically, you look at the work you do, and you could create like this spreadsheet where you can actually make a log of how you spend your time. And if you do this for a week and just look like put these like okay, I spent this time doing this. I spent this time doing this. And when you look at your whole week, when you audit your whole week, what do you see? You look at your how you spend your time, right? And then you ask yourself two questions, like what should I spend my time on, and what shouldn't I spend my time on? And the second question is more important, because the time you spend on things that really doesn't make you excited is the time you're not just wasting that time, but that time is kind of, you're also burning out. You are also like losing your energy, using your you're burning the time that can be used to much more effectively. So you want to first automate, delegate, or eliminate those things first, right? Get rid of those things so that you can actually, as the subtitle of my book, you can actually do less, achieve more, and save your brain for the big stuff, because you want to prioritize your big stuff so that you can actually, as I did in my business, so that I can actually like make my product great and grow my product, as opposed to like doing all these, other things like accounting, legal, HR, and ordering supplies for the office.
If people are looking at the video part, you could see we're on Aytekin's site here. It's AYTEKINTANK.com. I expect nothing less from you. I think obviously there's something free for you. You could get a free chapter here, or you can get the book on Amazon or Audible. I have it on Audible. So you can check it out on his website, or you can just go to Amazon and type in Automate Your Busywork and find it there as well. It started with, you were really cut your teeth working at a media company, a New York media company, and you started creating forms and, for that company, and this spun off into a separate business. And what's interesting, I want to talk about your dad for a second, because he gave you some advice and maybe it pissed you off at the time. But he did say that, and I may be, butchering it a little bit, but kind of, engineers don't get rich. You have to be a business person to get rich. And what have you learned, or who were some of the mentors in business for you as you grew Jotform? Because obviously you're a talented engineer and you've hired talented engineers as well to build out this product. But even with an amazing product, you still have to get out there and sell it. Who are some of the business mentors for you throughout your journey?
Yeah. So this story, I was in middle school that I actually took this. I didn't have a computer at home, but I took this class about programming, and every weekend I would go to my school, and there was this computer lab where I would actually do like programming for a week, for an hour or something, and that just like changed me. Like just like during the week, I was always like dreaming about the weekend where I'm gonna go and write some code, and just that excited me so much. And that's when I knew that I want to be actually become a programmer. And so later on, like when I was talking with my father, I told him that like I was reading about people like Bill Gates. I told him like, hey, I'm gonna become a software developer, and I'm gonna be rich. I'm gonna become like a software engineer.
How old were you at the time?
I think I was probably in high school.
Okay.
I will become this computer engineer, and I will become rich. And I remember he telling me engineers don't get rich. Business people get rich. And in my mind, like business people were like kind of like, it wasn't that exciting. Like just when I look at Bill Gates, I actually didn't actually see his like business person. He was actually like his success comes from being good business person, right? But I saw him as like this programmer, right? But at that time, like just it didn't excite me like that kind of. But I always remember that like it just sounded so weird to me, like something like that. He told me something like that. It just sounded so weird to me. But later on, like when I started like coding, and when I started kind of releasing, even when I was working for the media company on my full-time job, when I was releasing this software products, like open source products, things like that, I discovered that I needed to learn like marketing. I needed to learn how to talk to people, like how to do sales support, talking to clients, like just those kind of skills. I was kind of missing them. I kind of understood the importance of them because I was lacking them. And then I kind of appreciated what my father said. And then it also allowed me to consider, okay, I'm going to start my business. I'm also going to be a business person, right? And that was kind of inspirational to me. For the mentorship parts, I don't think I had like any like business mentors like that gave me business advice, like particularly, but
It could
I
be a
actually
colleague, just like I'm sure you have a lot of SaaS colleagues that you
Mhm.
talk to on a regular basis. It could be someone like that too.
Yeah, I mean, but actually I had a replacement, which is like these blogs and books. And I spent so much time like reading and reading all these blogs and reading all these books. So I talked about I was mentioning Joel's blog. Joel Spolsky was like one of my early people who inspired me. His blog is still available. Like just you could still read it and learn so much from it. Paul Graham, I still read his essays, and he had great essays back then as well. Like just in the books part, I enjoyed reading about like I've always been very curious about Apple because like they have such great products, they value design so much, and I also value design and product so much. And I wanted to know the secret behind like Apple, like how can they create such great products? Like what's the secret behind it? And I try to read all these books from people. There are not many, like just it's a very secretive company. But the one book that's really impressive is like the creative selection. There is also the book called Book Built that also mentions like his company was also bought by Apple, and he also talks about how they developed. But the creative selection, it's an amazing book. Any SaaS founder who wants to learn the secrets of Apple and how they do great products is should definitely read the creative selection. So my mentors have always been these like books and learning from these books.
Yeah, I'm looking at this one, taking creative selection inside Apple's design process during the golden age of Steve Jobs by Ken Kosienda, or how you pronounce it. What are, that's great. I love hearing about those. Talk about some of your favorite software. I mean, we talked about Jotform. What's some of your favorite? I know we talked about Zapier. What's some of your favorite, maybe apps? It could be personal or business
Mhm.
wise. What's some of your favorite SaaS software founders
Um,
or companies?
I'm actually spending a lot of time with these LLMs, just particularly ChatGPT and the cloud. Like they're so good. Just being able to like, if I have an idea, I just start talking with ChatGPT or Cloud and just bounce my ideas. Like just it's kind of like a friend on demand. Like just if you need to, like if I come up with an idea and just I can talk to it and ask it to like summarize something, just give it a document, give me a summary of this document or something like that, or just I have this idea, like just improve this idea, and then suddenly like just and or maybe just improve it and then summarize it, like just turn it into a single sentence, and then just it just does such a great job. So I actually used different methods in the past, like and I still use that method, like just it's I will just open a text editor. I use AI Writer. And because on Mac, it can just go full screen. I have this big Mac monitor and I can just open this black screen. Just there's one, like a single white cursor on my screen. And just I start typing and just like as I type, as I write about an idea, I actually come up with more ideas. But now in this process, I'm also starting to use more and more, like instead of writing by myself, I'm actually writing to ChatGPT. And then I'm writing an idea and I ask it to like, what do you think about this idea? Or I'm asking like, can you summarize this idea? Or just turn it into like this, make it crazy, make this idea crazy. And I really enjoy talking to LLMs because it's just like another person. Yeah.
Any other favorite ones on your phone that you use? I don't know if you use any specific apps, productivity or personal or fitness, or any of your favorite apps that you use.
On my phone. Let me see. Uh, I mean, one of the things I use a lot is like full screen clock. And I have kids. Like every morning, I try to push them to school bus, like right, push them out of the home. And like on our iPads, on our phones, I will open this like this large screen, like just time. I need the time because we are trying to catch up everything, like just get ready for the school, and just I'll just open it on an iPad, put it somewhere, and then we go somewhere else. Like I put it there as well. Like just I use it a lot. It's very useful to have like large screen time wherever you go. Yeah.
Founder versus CEO. Talk about some of your thoughts on that.
Yeah, this is exactly the same lesson that I learned previously. Like that I was doing all this busy work and I wasn't actually focused on what I needed to focus on. I actually made the exact same mistake again, but this time, a few years back, like I was just working so much. I was spending so much time in the office, and then I was doing all these like meetings. Like I was going from one meeting to another. I was doing everything. I felt like, hey, this is how you become a CEO. Like this is how CEOs work, right? They have to do so many meetings. But then I started thinking like I was burning out. I wasn't enjoying the work anymore. Even the meeting that I was supposed to enjoy wasn't like good. Like I didn't feel like I was really doing well. Like I was just, taking status from people, and or like just I wasn't contributing as much as I should be. So and when I had my third child, like I took a break, a long break. And during this time, like I was thinking, I wonder if I should retire or something. Like just I'm not enjoying work anymore. And when I had that downtime that I was able to think about like what's going on and why I don't enjoy it, I started thinking I don't enjoy the meetings. I don't enjoy going from one meeting to another whole day long. Just this is not good. This is not a good idea. This is not the way to spend my time. And it's not just and when I didn't want to do all those meetings, I thought to myself, I wasn't also being productive by just doing everything. And I have all these great executives, all these like VPs and C level people, and I have a good COO. I was able to leave everything to him when I was like taking the time off. So why don't I just leave everything to them while I am working as well? But instead of just doing everything, I just focus on like very small number of things. And then I started focusing on 5 things at that time, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Like every day I would focus on different things. And even that, like after doing that for a while, I discovered that even that was too much. Like I decided that I'm just going to focus on 2 things. What's the biggest opportunity for our company, and what's the biggest bottleneck for our company? And if I can just focus on those 2 things, and I leave everything else to our COO, I leave everything else to our executives. They're already great. They're doing a great job. I don't need to be everywhere. I don't need to be on every meeting. And I remember this is actually about the title I have. Like my title is founder and CEO. And when I was having all those meetings, I was actually a good CEO. Maybe I was a good CEO. I was actually doing everything. I was involved with everyone, like making decisions, but I wasn't being a founder. And my title is founder and CEO. So, but I was only involved with the CEO part. And I thought the founder title was not just something about the past, but it could be something about the future as well. It should be something about the future. And why don't I just be the founder of the future of our company, future of our team, future of our culture or product? Why don't I focus on the future? Why don't I be because there is no like founders cannot be replaced. Like when founders exist, there is a hole in the company that cannot be replaced. So I should be doing my responsibility, which is being the founder. And being the founder is about reinventing the future, inventing the future of our company, our product, our team. And that's what I try to do today. And how I do is like 2 days of the week, I'm focused on like one thing, and 2 days of the week I'm focused on the other thing. And the single day I will just try to catch up with everything else. And so I choose what topics to focus on by asking those questions, like what's the biggest opportunity and what's the biggest bottleneck. And right now, with the biggest opportunity, we are working on this AI product. We have been working on this AI product for a year, and I'm leading that product, which kind of involves like 14 different teams are working on this, and I'm just managing that product because I'm so excited about that, and I'm so much enjoying it. And the other thing is like the bottleneck for our company is like our growth bottleneck is the enterprise sales, because enterprise, like, we have been this for a long time. We have been this product-led company, and we recently started our enterprise product. We recently built a sales team, but because we have been this product-led company for so long, it's all those skills, like we don't have all those skills, how to create leads, how to kind of turn them into sales, like all those like sales-led growth items, like we don't have them. And I'm trying to figure those things out. And because our enterprise sales has a much bigger growth, and I'm focused on growing that for the 2 days of the week, and I'm really enjoying it because I'm able to deep dive on it, because I'm able to like just spend the time, do research, like read books, just like talk to individual engineers about something, talk to individual contributors about something, just go to lunch with someone who knows something. So when I try to do everything, like I didn't have time for anything. But today I actually have time for the most important things in our business, and I'm feeling I enjoy my work much more than before.
I think thanks for that's super valuable to hear you talk about that and how you think about it. It really is. I know we have just a little bit of time left. I do want to get to some use cases because I love hearing them, because it gets my creative juices flowing on what I should be doing also. Before we get to that, though, you hit on one thing that I do want to touch on. You have an interesting structure of how you do pods. I don't know if you would call it pods in your company, which allows you to be very productive and the team to be very productive. So if you just touch on that and how you structure the pods to get stuff done, even though you have over 500 people.
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning, we were like this small team, and so our company has grown very slowly in the beginning. So the first year, I hired my first employee. The first 5 years, like I was just hiring one person. And the way we worked was really good, because like we were this, especially when we were around like 5 people, we were this cross-functional team. We had a designer, we had developers, front-end developer, back-end developer. I was this product person slash kind of technical person slash sysadmin. And so this cross-functional team was working well. But a few years later, when we actually has grown to like this 15-person team, that because I didn't have any experience managing like that large teams, that I assumed that what I needed to do was like I gave everyone like one job. So we were this 15-person company, and everybody was working on different things. But things weren't working well, because like just we weren't very productive. I was comparing like, hey, we were more productive when we were 5. Why are we not that much productive? Why are we? And the quality
you have triple the amount of people, and you're not as productive at the time.
Yeah. And I was curious about that. And at that time, I was also reading about like these books about how, all these like other Silicon Valley companies are actually developing software, and how I was reading Eric Rice's blog about like these lean startup movement, and how the cross-functional teams, that I looked back on the time where like we were a small team, and then I decided, okay, maybe we need to work that way. Like we need to go back to work in that way. And we were also planning to move to this new office space, large office space. So I decided, okay, I hired this great architect and I said, okay, build me these small rooms, like, maybe glass rooms where we could only put like 6 people, no more than 6 people. And, because back then we had a small office, we were like 5 people, we had this whiteboard. So I tried to create that environment for our teams as well. So we built these small team rooms and we'll put these teams that way. And then I remembered like we were only working on a single project because I wouldn't call like 6 people, even if they sit in the same room, if they're all working on different things, I wouldn't call them a team. So to be a team, they need to work on a single project. They need to, sit down together and work together and just and have a single goal, and so that they can actually, in the early days when we go, when it was lunchtime, we would go walk to lunch together and we would continue talking about the product, talking about the early version of the Jotform. And I wanted to create that environment. Like just when we built those rooms, when we created those teams, we also started paying teams to go to lunches together every week, like once a week. Like we put whiteboards on the rooms. So that worked really well. And that's how I was able to actually scale our team, scale our culture, keep this productive culture with our team. And today we are this, like, even though we have like 600 employees, we are still like this collection of these small teams. And whenever we need to accomplish something, like, okay, we need to get this right, we just build a team. Like we just build a team. We put like 5 people on it, make sure that cross-functional, make sure that they can make their own decisions. They can accomplish things by themselves. And then we give them a room and they become successful. And that's how I was able to scale the company and continue to have a great productive culture.
Love it. I know you have some basketball activities to get to in a few minutes, but I do want to touch on some kind of use cases because it gets my creative juices flowing on how I should be doing. It's not about forms. It's about interacting with customers with the way I see it and getting the data to improve the company, the Cincinnati Zoo.
Yeah. So Cincinnati Zoo has been a Jotform user for a long time, but like when they had like this new hippo, like a baby hippo, they decided that they were gonna name it by doing like this poll, like this survey, so that people can actually vote for different names for the hippo, and they received like 90,000 submissions on this form. Like they were using Jotform, and we were so excited about it, and we went to them and we became a sponsor as well to their to these efforts, and it was just so much fun.
And I'm sure that interaction, resulted in people coming to the zoo. It had nothing to do with probably promoting the zoo, but it's an awareness. People want to check in to see if their name was the one that they voted for. So that was a great one. The Sydney Opera House. How did they use
Jotform for like it's one of the customers that I'm really proud of, because it's just such an iconic building, and everybody knows about it, and people can do events on the Opera House, and they use Jotform for many things, but one of them is like just booking different rooms for events on Sydney Opera House. Yeah.
What about University of Michigan?
So their teams are very, sports teams are very famous, and they use Jotform. They have been using Jotform for a long time, and they use it for very different things, and like booking and tracking different things and booking, different things within the athletic department. They are also a big Jotform users. Yeah.
I just want to Again, thank you. Everyone check out jotform.com. You could also check out Automate Your Busywork, the book, the Wall Street Journal bestseller. Aytekin, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jeremy, for having me on your show. Bye-bye.
What I got, you can't buy. It resides between my eyes. Walked through the fire, came out better on the other side. See, life's like a beach if you find the sailing right now. I'm feeling like 100 grand.